The stars above Geneva pulsed with alien light. Commander Elise Varga stood at the observation window of the UN Space Defense Command Center, arms folded, eyes locked on the orbital procession crawling silently across the night sky. 12 Concorde envoy ships had arrived in perfect formation, shimmering with gold ion trails. Decorative. Calculated. A voice crackled through her earpiece. Ceremony begins in 6. You're needed in the council chamber, Commander. She didn't move. Not yet. A planetary shield network. A gift from the Galactic Concorde. No cost. No catch. At least that's what the official documents claimed. But Elise had seen enough gifts in her military days. Free always meant leverage. With a sigh, she turned from the stars and strode toward the chamber. The council floor was packed, delegates, generals, interpreters. Screens hovered in holographic orbs, streaming live coverage of the ceremony from the orbital embassy. Earth's blue curve glowed in the background, almost surreal. The aliens were already there. High Consul Drixon stood at the center, towering over the human officials. His skin was reflective, a mercurial sheen that flowed like liquid metal under the lights. His face was unreadable, no pupils, no mouth, just the smooth shifting of his outer layer forming sound. He addressed Earth's leaders in flawless English. Too flawless. Today, Drixon intoned, we offer humanity a future unburdened by fear. The celestial net will protect your planet from external threats, be they physical, digital, or existential. The Concorde has watched your progress with admiration. This is your welcome into the stars. Polite applause. Cameras clicked. Elise leaned toward the defense minister beside her. Existential threats? That's new. He waved her off. You're too suspicious, Varga. It's ceremonial. Let the diplomats have their moment. She bit back a retort. After the broadcast, they were ushered into private chambers, a sleek white room furnished in Concorde design, minimal, ambient, cool. Elise took a seat at the end of the long oval table, near Drixon. The alien's voice rippled like oil across water. Commander Varga. I hear you led the defense strategy against the Martian solar flare event. Impressive. She gave a half-smile. Thanks. We prefer our planets not fried. Drixon inclined his head. That instinct, to preserve, drives the Concorde. Which is why we offer the shield. Before others, notice Earth. There it was. A drop of truth. Others? Elise asked. Mind naming them? Drixon didn't blink. Couldn't. Predatory species. Civilizations that do not honor sentient rights. The Concorde patrols many borders. But the galaxy is vast. You mean you can't patrol everything? The consul's face rippled, just slightly. Which is why we build barriers where needed. Defense, Elise said, or containment. He smiled now, or tried to. It looked like liquid stretching tight. You ask sharp questions. I get paid for that. Later, in her private quarters, Elise paced. Something didn't fit. The Concorde had ignored Earth for centuries. Suddenly, now, they arrive, offering protection with no clear enemy in sight. Why not earlier, during the asteroid crisis? Or the AI rebellion? Why now, when Earth was finally self-sufficient? She called up the Concorde dossier. The file was glowing with gaps. Redacted sections. Dozens of references to Protocol K5 and Category V civilizations. No definitions. No elaboration. She keyed into the secure channel. Valen. You still working Concorde linguistics? A sleepy voice answered. Always. Why? Ever hear the phrase Zertal and Moran? A pause. Yeah. It's in one of their founding doctrines. Literally. It means cordon before blooming. Idiomatically, it's contained before they spread. Why? Elise's blood went cold. Because Drixon said it. In Concord Standard. I don't think he realized I understood. Valen's voice sharpened. That's not something they say about allies. I know. The next morning, the treaty meeting resumed. A Concord technician projected the celestial net interface, interlinked satellites, forming a complete exo-atmospheric mesh. It had its own energy core. Fully automated. Independently operated. No human oversight? Elise asked. Drixon smiled. It must function free of planetary influence to ensure safety. She stood. So you want to put a planetary shield around us, powered by your core, operated by your systems, with no override? Correct. Then who's protecting who? The room fell quiet. World leaders shifted uncomfortably. Drixon didn't flinch. You misunderstand. This is for your survival. Then explain the restrictions. The one-way communication channel. The auto-lockdown protocols. He exhaled through his skin, an odd shudder. Some civilizations become aggressive. You expand fast. Fight often. You conquered your own biosphere. We offer safety from the galaxy. And from yourselves. There it was. The truth, bared. You're not protecting us, Elise said. You're caging us. Drixon's surface rippled. You misunderstand, Commander. No, I don't. She stepped forward, face level with his reflective one. You're afraid. He said nothing. Back in the control room, Elise watched the data scroll. Surveillance logs. Concord ship movements. Their fleet was circling Earth in a perfect geosynchronous pattern. Not idle. Coordinated. She spoke quietly into her comms. Activate Project Aegis. Eyes only. Commander, are you sure? I want tracking on every Concord ship within $5 Australian. And pull everything we have on Protocol K5. I want to know exactly what kind of cage they plan to build. Copy that. Elise leaned back in her chair, eyes on the alien ships glowing like silent sentinels above Earth. They offered peace. But not freedom. And humans never did well in cages. The elevator slid upward without a sound, but Elise's thoughts roared. Geneva blurred below as she ascended toward the upper-level intelligence center, UNSDC's most restricted archive wing. Her credentials pinged at the door. Access granted. Inside, the air was cold, sterile. 3 AI assistants shimmered to life in a muted glow. She didn't waste time. Run an isolated search, she said, on Concord Protocol K5, all mentions, all contexts. Cross-reference with phrases, Category V instability, containment parameters, and any restricted construction plans on planetary-level devices. The central AI, codename Astra, paused. Then, search returned 114 entries. 83 classified. 17 flagged for diplomatic suppression. 6 redacted by Concord directive. Elise narrowed her eyes. Show me the flagged ones. The holograms shimmered to life, blurred images, pieces of conversation logs, intercepted messages. One fragment stood out. They evolve under stress, respond with innovation rather than submission, unpredictable and unmanageable at scale. She zoomed in. Species classification, human, Earth. Risk rating, Category V. Mitigation plan, passive containment through celestial net deployment. She exhaled slowly. They weren't protecting Earth. They were containing it, like a volatile lab experiment. She needed confirmation. Someone fluent in the subtext of Concord dialects. And someone who owed her a favor. Within the hour, Elise was on a secure channel with Professor Niles Vec, a xenolinguist based in Brussels, and a known critic of the Concord's benevolent imperialism. His image flickered onto her screen. Elise, he said, eyes tired but curious. You always call when the sky's on fire. She didn't smile. What do you know about the term Category V instability risk? He paused. That's not public. I know. Vec leaned in. It's a label for species whose development pattern is considered nonlinear, self-escalating, and potentially infectious. You grow through conflict. You innovate under threat. The Concord fears that. So they lock us down? He nodded grimly. They fear contagion. Your kind might inspire other species to reject structure. She sat back. In this celestial net? It's the lock. Yes. And the key stays in their hands. Later that night, Elise stood alone on the open-air platform above the Defense Command dome. Wind pulled at her coat. Above her, the Concorde's ships glinted like patient vultures. She was piecing together a trap, but she still needed proof bold enough to shatter the illusion. Something undeniable. And that meant breaching the Concorde's secure systems. Back inside, she entered her override code. Project Aegis, Phase 2. A circular hologram unfolded, her personal Black Ops AI, Nyx. Designed in secret. Trained to learn Concorde patterns. Hidden from every known scanner. Nyx, she said, infiltrate the main Concorde flagship. Prioritize the Celestial Net's command protocols, schematics, and deployment logs. The AI blinked. Estimated time, 17 minutes. High risk of detection. Do it anyway. The lights dimmed. Streams of foreign code scrolled by. Elise watched in tense silence. Exactly 16 minutes later, Nyx whispered. Download complete. A single line of code hovered in front of her. If planetary output exceeds Concorde control threshold lockdown, initiate disconnect local command. She blinked. If Earth exceeded a threshold of population, energy use, or defense capability, the net would trigger an automatic lockdown. A hard shell. Sealed from the rest of space. No in or out. And Earth wouldn't even hold the keys. The next morning, Elise confronted Drixon in the diplomatic chamber. He waited, calm, hands folded like a priest. We need to talk about Protocol K5, she said without preamble. He tilted his head. That's restricted. I read it. A pause. Then you understand. You are volatile. A singularity wrapped in flesh. You're afraid we'll disrupt your precious order. You already are. Elise stepped closer. So this shield, it's not about protecting us. It's a muzzle. No, Drixon said. It is a fence. For your safety. And the galaxies. And if we say no? His skin darkened a shade. Then others will come. And they will not offer fences. They will bring fire. Her eyes narrowed. We've seen fire before. We survived it. Grew stronger. Drixon's surface rippled. Precisely why you must be contained. By noon, Elise had leaked the decrypted schematics of the Celestial Net to Earth's Global Security Council. Reactions ranged from horror to disbelief. The president of the North American Union slammed his hand on the desk. You're telling me this thing's a cage disguised as a gift? Yes, Elise said. And we're already inside. A chorus of objections erupted. Is this confirmed? Why didn't we know sooner? We can't back out now. Elise let them speak. Then she dropped the final piece. The shield activates next week. Once complete, we lose control. No override, no disengage. If we act, it must be now. That night, Elise returned to the observation deck. She didn't feel triumphant. Just tired. The stars didn't look peaceful anymore. They looked full of eyes. Drixon's voice echoed in her mind, a fence. For your safety. But humanity didn't build fences around its future. It climbed them. Broke them. Burned them if necessary. Her comm chirped. Aegis Phase 3 is ready, Nyx said. Then it's time. She looked to the sky one last time and whispered. They offered us peace. But they never asked what we'd give up for it. And humans didn't do surrender. Not anymore. The assembly dome atop the UN Space Command headquarters thrummed with silent tension. The sky above was clear, almost too clear, blue, still, indifferent. But everyone inside knew that just beyond it, a web waited to descend. The celestial net activation ceremony was set to begin in an hour. Dignitaries, military advisors, heads of state, all gathered in a single hall, flanked by armed security and a dozen Concord envoys. The Concord delegation stood to one side, shimmering like statues of Mercury. Drixon, in the center, radiated calm authority. Elise Varga sat near the back. Not hidden. Just watching. A thin calm wire wrapped discreetly around her collar. She touched it once. Phase 3 is green, Nix whispered into her ear. We're synced with every global broadcast satellite. If you speak, the galaxy hears it. She rose. And walked straight to the stage. At first, no one stopped her. She had clearance. Uniform. A face the council recognized. But when she stepped in front of the Concord's projection console, interrupting the planned activation feed, the hum of the room shifted. Murmurs began. One Concord technician reached for a control. Elise held up a hand. Don't, she said quietly. This isn't sabotage. It's truth. Then she tapped her wrist pad. The screens behind her flickered. The smiling Concord banners disappeared. Replaced with schematics, translated logs, and visual overlays of the celestial net's true protocols. Gasps. Some of the human delegates stood. A few stumbled backward. This, Elise said, is what they didn't show us. Drixon didn't move. But his tone cut through the air like a wire. Commander Varga is misinformed. These files are classified, misrepresented, and illegally obtained. Elise didn't blink. That's your problem, Consul. We read what you kept hidden. She turned to the assembly. The celestial net isn't just a shield. It's a lock. Once it's fully active, Earth loses command access. We can't open it. We can't shut it down. And if we grow too fast, too strong, it closes us off. Indefinitely. The room turned ice cold. The African Coalition president stood. Are you confirming this, Consul? Drixon's surface pulsed faintly. Containment is not punishment. It is precaution. You are unique. But you are unstable. We're alive, Elise snapped. That's not instability. That's adaptation. Drixon's voice dropped. You're dangerous. And you're afraid of what will become. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then a voice cut in. Young. American accent. A junior delegate, standing near the center. So what if they lock us in? We'll break out eventually, right? A few turned. A few nodded. Elise smiled faintly. That's the point. But we shouldn't have to break out. Not from a gift. Not from a so-called friend. She looked at the room. We didn't ask for protection. We didn't invite a cage. And if we accept it now, we'll be teaching every future generation that fear wins. That safety matters more than freedom. Drixon took one slow step forward. You do not understand what awaits you in the stars. There are things worse than isolation. You are still learning. Still, untempered. You think we're fire? Elise said. He nodded. Yes. And fire must be contained before it spreads. She stepped off the stage. Walked right up to him. Or maybe fire was meant to burn through the dark. The moment snapped. The Concord envoy signaled. Lights dimmed. A silent code ran through the embedded systems. On the upper screens, the celestial net interface began flickering to life again. Drixon turned back to the podium. We will proceed with activation. But he hadn't counted on Nix. Override sequence initiated, the AI whispered. The entire room went black for 2 seconds, then came alive again, not with Concorde visuals, but Earth's. Live footage of street protests. Engineers disconnecting relay stations. Pilots grounding Concorde-linked satellites. Global refusal in real time. Then Elise spoke again, her voice projected across Earth and into the Concorde's interstellar relays. This is Earth's final answer. We decline your net. We will not be tamed. We are not children asking for permission to grow. She turned. Consul Drixon, take your cage with you. We'll face the stars on our own terms. Silence. Then the Concorde delegates, like a murmuration of liquid silver, receded, as if choreographed. Drixon lingered a heartbeat longer. You have chosen chaos, he said. It will find you. Elise didn't flinch. So will we. 3 hours later, the sky was still whole. The Concorde fleet pulled back, slow, methodical. No weapons drawn. No words left. Back in the command center, Elise stood in front of a quiet screen, her reflection faint in the glass. Nix chimed gently. Transmission logs show full broadcast. Concorde responses, muted. Likely regrouping. Let them, Elise said. We're not going anywhere. Yet they will come again. Of course. She smiled now, weary but sure. That's what makes it interesting. A quiet ping. A message from a Martian relay team. 4 words. We heard. We're in. Humanity wasn't alone. It never was. It was just, first. And firsts always make noise. 6 months later, Earth didn't just survive. It changed. The sky over Geneva no longer flickered with Concorde patrols. Their silence had stretched across weeks, then months, until even the paranoid conspiracy forums ran out of theories. But Elise Varga knew silence wasn't peace. Silence was pressure waiting to break. That didn't stop humanity. The day after the rejection, engineers worldwide began building Earth's own orbital mesh, open source, transparent, human-operated. No locks, no external controls. Nations who rarely agreed on water rights suddenly shared AI designs and satellite relays. Mars sent miners. Luna sent its best orbital architects. Even Antarctica offered space. They called it Project Ember. A defense grid, yes, but also a symbol. If the stars were cold, Earth would be its own flame. Elise stood in the Project Ember Control Center, a facility buried beneath the Greenland ice crust, temperature-regulated and radiation-shielded. Around her, massive displays showed data streams, orbital trajectories, power flow charts, atmospheric pressure from the mesh's upper layers. Section Delta just synced, said one of the technicians, a young Kenyan named Ayabo. Final link-up. Mesh is breathing clean. Elise nodded. Feed the alignment to Mars base Ares. They'll want telemetry before they light their beacon. She turned to the holographic display of Earth, now wrapped in a thin exofield, faint and silver, like the shimmer of heat on metal. Not a cage. Not a wall. A flare. An encrypted ping broke her focus. A message incoming from Concorde Channel Delta, one that shouldn't be active. She stepped into a secure booth. The screen lit up, flickering, slightly distorted, like the signal came from deep space or far beyond any standard relay. Then the face of Drixon resolved. He looked unchanged. But his voice, it held something new. You built a flare. Not a barrier. Right, Elise said, because we're not hiding. Drixon nodded slowly. You defied a warning. You broadcast defiance. And others are listening. Elise raised a brow. Good. He didn't react. 3 Concorde worlds have requested diplomatic reevaluation of Earth. 4 more have copied elements of your open mesh code. You've begun infection. Elise crossed her arms. You say that like it's a plague. Chaos spreads. Freedom does faster. Drixon's face stayed unreadable. They will come now. The ones we tried to keep from you. The ones we hoped you'd never inspire. Elise leaned closer. Then why call me? Because when fire starts, even we don't know where it ends. The screen blinked out. Hours later, the sensors lit up. Unknown energy signatures. Not Concorde ships, different structure, different warp trails. Multiple vectors. No declaration. No known language. Not even a standard arrival pattern. Project Ember went to red alert. Elise walked onto the ops floor, calm as the eye of a storm. Talk to me. Iabo glanced up, eyes wide. 13 ships. Angular formation. Non-Concorde tech. No weapons primed, yet. But, no response to hails. Where are they headed? Iabo pointed. Straight to Luna Colony. They're flying dark. Redirect power. Lock eyes on them. Let them know we're watching, but don't fire unless they breach the gravity envelope. And if they do? Then we show them what Earth learned in silence. 2 hours later, the first contact came, barely recognizable. Not language. Not math. But sound. Rhythmic pulses. Binary encoded vibration maps. Elise fed the signal into Nix, who translated in fragments. Observe your deviation. Human pattern is unstable. Your light disturbs stasis. Another message followed, this time visual. Sketches of collapsed stars. Of burned worlds. Of species consumed by their own acceleration. They're warning us, Iabo whispered. No, Elise corrected, they're trying to scare us. Like the Concorde did. The difference was, this time, Earth didn't flinch. Elise sent the response herself. Her face appeared in every spectrum the newcomers were broadcasting on. No filters. No softening. You came to examine the fire, she said. Here we are. We are flawed, we are reckless, but we are alive. And we will not extinguish our spark because it makes you uncomfortable. She paused. If you came to learn, we'll talk. If you came to control, we'll resist. But if you came thinking Earth is a soft planet wrapped in fear, turn around. For minutes, the sky was still. Then the ships paused. Hovered. Pivoted, one by one, and veered off, leaving orbit in silence. No reply. No threats. Only a message left behind, burned into Earth's ionosphere in the same pulse language as before. Acknowledged. Fire does not ask permission to burn. A week later, Concorde sent another message. Not from Drixon. From the assembly itself. They called it mutual reassessment. They wanted a summit. Elise sat alone in her private quarters, watching the sea crash against the cliffs of her Icelandic retreat. She wasn't surprised. She was just tired. Nix broke the silence. You infected their system. Their politics. Their hierarchy. Was this your intent? No, she said. I just wanted us to stay free. You did more than that. She glanced at the stars overhead. Good. Project Ember expanded. Earth's allies, those awakened by the fire, joined the flare. One by one, distant colonies blinked back. Not all were human. Not all even resembled life as we knew it. But they saw something in humanity's spark that even the Concorde hadn't fully understood. We didn't rise because we were strong. We rose because we refused to kneel. And that, Elise realized, was the fire they had always feared.